Arasi movement was launched by Haji Shariatullah in 1818. After the death of Shariatullah in 1839, the son was the rebellion was led by his son Dudu Mian, who called upon the peasants not to pay tax. It gained popularity on simple doctrine that land belongs to God. Land belongs to God. And collecting rent and levying taxes were therefore against divine law. After the death of Dudu Mian in 1862, the movement was revived in the 1870s by Noh Mian. Wahhabi revolution was an anti-imperial, anti-lord movement. It originated in and around 1827 in the Barasat region of Bengal. It was led by an Islamic preacher, Titu Mir, who deeply influenced by the Wahhabi teachings. He became an influential figure. Under colonial rule, for the first time, Indian government claimed a direct property right over forests. The British rule and disencouragement of commercialization of forests led to the disintegration of the traditional system. Tribal resistance was therefore response against those introduced changes in the peaceful tribal life or took undue advantage of the innocence of the tribal people. Cold uprising of 1831 to 1832 took place in Chota Nagpur and Sigmund region of present-day Jharkhand and Odisha. Under the leadership of Bindrai and Singrai, the Raja of Chota Nagpur had laced out moneylenders the job of revenue collection, the usury and force of eviction of tribals from their land right to the resettlement of coals. The initial protest and resistance goals was in the form of plunder, arson, and attacks on the properties of outsiders. This was also followed by killing of moneylenders and merchants. The tribal leaders adopted various methods, and their message was beating of drums. Sandals were scattered by in various parts of eastern India, were forced to move out of their homeland for the process of creation of zamins under permanent settlement, cleared the forest under the area around under the Jaj Mahal hills. They were oppressed by the local police and European officers engaged in the railway construction. Pushed out of their familiar habitat, the Sanghals were forced to rely on the moneylenders for their substance. So they were trapped in a vicious cycle of debt and extortion. Besides, the Sandals also felt neglected under the corrupt British administration and their inability to render justice to the legislative grievances. Under 1854, activities of social banditry led by a person named Bir Singh was reported from different places. They were directed against Maharajas and traders. In 1855, two Sandal brothers Sidhu and Kannu proclaimed that they had received a divine message from the god asking them to lead the rebellion. By July 1855, the rebellion has taken the form of open insurrection against the Mahajans, the Mamindaris, and the British officials. They marched with bows, poisoned arrows, axes, and swords, taking over the Raj Mahal and Bhagalpur by proclaiming that company rule was about to end. In response, villagers were raided and properties destroyed by the British. In 1850, an act was passed to regulate the territories occupied by the Sandals. The act formed the territory into a separate division called Sandal Paragana Division. One of the prominent tribal rebellions of this period occurred in Ranchi, known as Ulugulan Rebellion. Great tumult. The Mundar people were familiar with the cooperative or collective farming known as Kunkatti joint holding land system. It was totally eroded by the introduction of private ownership of land, intrusion of merchants and moneylenders. The Mundar people were also forcibly recruited as indentured laborers to work on plantations. In the 1919s, tribal chiefs offered resistance against the alienation of tribal people from the land and imposition of Bedbegari or forced labor. The government was imposed when Mr. Munda declared himself as the messenger of God. Birsa claimed that he had a prophecy and the solution of Munda people and the establishment of Birsa Raj. The Munda leaders utilized this cause of Birsa Munda to recruit more people to their cause. A series of night meetings held on the Christmas of day of 1989. In the resorted to violence, buildings were burned down, wars were shot, Christian missionaries and Munda Christian converts, own police stations and government officials were attacked. Similar attacks were carried out. Finally, the residents were crushed and Binda Mutsa and arrested in February 1900, who later died in jail. The Burunda rebellion prompted the British to formulate the policy on tribal land. The Chota Nagpur, Tennessee Act, based on the Burunda rebellion, Chota Nagpur Tennessee Act 1988, they restricted the entry of non-tribal people into the tribal land. Mm, the great principal rebellion of 1857. In the 1840s and 1850s, more territories were annexed by major policies like doctrine of paramountcy. The British claimed themselves as paramount, exercising supreme authority. New territories were annexed on the grounds that the native rulers were in a doctrine of lapse. In the absence of male hair, the territories were attached to British India. Satara, Sambalpur, parts of Punjab, Jhansi, Nagpur were annexed by the British to the doctrine of lapse. Insensitivity to Indian cultural sentiments. In the 1806, the Sepoys at Vellore mutinied against the new dress code, which prohibited Indians from wearing religious marks and therefore. And similarly, in 1824, the Sepoys at Barakpur near Kolkata refused to go to Burma Basin since the crossing of the sea meant the loss of their caste. The revolt. A precursor to the revolt was the circulation of rumors about the cartridges of the new Enfield rifle. There was strong suspicion that on 29 March, a Sipai named Mangal Pandey assaulted his European officer. His fellow soldiers refused to arrest him in order to do so. Mangal Pandey, along with others, were court-martialed and hanged. This only fueled the anger, and in the following days there was increasing disturbance. In on 11th May 1857, the band of Sipais from Meerut marched to the Red Fort in 1818 Delhi. The Sipais were followed by the equally exuberant crowd as the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah became their leader. And soon the rebels captured the West Northwestern Persians and Awadh. As the followers of the fall of Delhi reached the mutiny was equally supported by aggrieved rural society of North India. Sipais working in the British army were in fact peasants in humans. The first rebellion broke out in parts of the northwestern provinces, and out there these were the two regions from which the Sipais were predominantly recruited. A large number of zamindars and talukas were attracted to the rebellions as they lost their previous village privileges under the British government. Similarly, articrafts and handicrafts were equally affected by the dethroning of rulers of many Indian states who were major source of patronage. The dumping of British manufacturers had ruined the Indian handicrafts and thrown thousands of weavers out of employment. Collective anger against the British took the form of People's Revolt. The mutiny provided platform for aggrieved kings, Nawabs, queens, zamindars to express the anti-British anger. Nana Sahib, the adopted son of Peshwa Baji Rao, too provided leadership in the Kanpur region. He had been denied pension by the company. Similarly, Begum Hazrat Mahal in Lucknow and Khan Bahadur in Bareilly took the command of their respective territories, which was once ruled by them. Another such significant ruler was Rani Lakshmi Bai, who assumed the leadership in Jhansi. In her case, Dalhousie, the Governor General of Bengal, had refused a request to adopt her as a successor. Rani Lakshmi battled the mighty English army until she was defeated. Bahadur Shah, Zafar, Kunwar Singh, Khan Bahadur, Rani Lakshmi and many others were rebels against their will. At the beginning of June 1857, the Delhi, Meerut, Gilkand, Agra, Allahabad and Banaras division of the army had been restored to British control and placed under martial law. One of the important reasons of the failure of the rebellion was the absence of a central authority. There was no common agenda that united the individuals and the aspirations of Indian provinces. In the end, the rebellion was brutally suppressed by the British army. The rebel leaders were defeated due to the lack of weapons, organization, discipline, and betrayal by the Delhi was captured by the British troops in 1857. Bahadur Shah was captured and transported to Burma. The British Parliament adopted the Indian government in November 1858, and India was pronounced as one of the many crown colonies to be directly governed by the Parliament. The responsibility was given to a member of the Cabinet designated as the Secretary of State for India. British rule and its policies.